Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear students of Global English 9. Here we go again, another video of Unit 8, and I hope you enjoyed the last video. If you remember, last lesson was about the Industrial Revolution and how we approached the agricultural part. Today we're going to another part that the Industrial Revolution had affected, which is the manufacturing thing. Yes, manufacturing is the process of getting things made by machines. So if you look at here, we have two short lines at the very beginning, which say the Industrial Revolution was a period of great change in Britain, when manufacture by machines took place of handmade goods. You know, in the past people used to make things by the hands. So they were named, or they were known as handmade goods. Now, as you can see, yes, manufacturing is everywhere. We have huge machines and huge factories for many aspects of life. Yes, many products, electronics, clothes, so on. So at the very beginning, this was a huge change. How do you think, or what do you think of that? Was it a huge change in their lives? Did it affect any aspects of their lives? I will leave this to you. You may discuss this with your teachers at the very beginning of the lesson. Now for the reading part, we have this reading text at the end of the page, and the continuation is on the other page. You can say they are two opposite pages in your books, and it talks about different years of the past. At that time, we're starting with 1712, with Thomas Newcomen invented a steam engine. This was a first trial. Then 1769, James Watt improved the engine that Newcomen's had reached, and he added a condenser so that the energy is kept inside and it works more efficiently. We also see for several years the machines continued to be used to pump water from the coal mines, and this was a very big thing at that time. You know the mining, and of course you know what mines mean. But you know, through these mines they can get many sources of natural energy, like gold and coal. Yes, what do I mean by coal? It's this black thing that they use for making fire and in fire camps and so on. But it was gradually understood that they could have other uses. One of these uses was the cotton mills. And cotton mills at that time was very, a very profitable project that you can start on your own, because it brings you a lot of wealth. It is used for for the cotton thing, and then it is used for making clothes. So it was an essential thing in their lives. In 1771, Richard Arkwright set up a large water-powered mill. So that's another thing for cotton. Now they use this mill that is based on water energy, or energy that comes from water, to drive a cotton spinning machine, which was known as the water frame. Up to then, people had been working in their homes. So at that time, this was a huge change in their lives. People were doing it in homes. Then they have factories, as you can see, water-powered mills. So this can make the lives easier, and at the same time, it offered many jobs for those who are looking for work. But Arkwright brought the workers together in one place. Instead of going to this person or that person, they are all under the same umbrella. He welcomed large families so that women and young children could work in the factories. So now more facilitations are given to them. More, privileges, good things are given to them. You can bring your children with you. We have an area for them, and so on. So it would help to improve the work and the quality of the work. We also have 1790, another time there, or another year, which is had been using water power in mills for almost 20 years now, since 1771, which is around 19, and that's why we said almost, and this is the use of almost in language, if you're not sure or you didn't get to the exact number. The steam engine ensured a continuous supply for power. Now it's the era of steam. Now they got to the steam engine, and the steam engine helped them a lot so they can make the work more efficient and productive. As you can see, we have many words that we are familiar with, except for spinning, and I mean by spinning, which is the process of getting the cotton made. We also have the word cottage, and cottage is a small house that is built through the leaves of trees, and you can keep your, let's say your stuff and your children in these cottages, okay, until you finish your work, as they were welcomed on that time. We also have the word efficient. And what do I mean by efficient? Yes, of high quality. Thank you. Now, as you can see, this page has also a listening part that is related to the Industrial Revolution. Listen, and we need to know which aspect of the Industrial Revolution is the focus of this program. We are listening to a program now. We have three choices. Is it the different kinds of machines used in the mills? Is it the conditions for workers in the mills? Or people traveling long distances to find work? So we have three choices. We need to know which aspect. So there is going to be one aspect of those three. Now we're starting.
Welcome to the History Programme. Today we're talking to Professor Johnson about the children who worked in the mills at the end of the 18th and the beginning of the 19th centuries. What was life like for these children?
It was hard. Children as young as 6 years old worked in the mills. They started at 6 a.m. and finished at about 7 in the evening. So they worked between 12 and 14 hours a day.
12 to 14 hours a day? That can't have been much fun for them. And how many children worked in the mills?
A lot. In some of Richard Arkwright's mills, for example, 2/3 of the people who worked there were children.
What about health and safety?
I'm afraid that wasn't important to the mill owners. Accidents were very common. Children lost hands and arms because they had to clean the machines while the machines were running. And the air was full of dust, which meant that chest and lung diseases were common.
How much did factory workers earn?
Very little. And factory owners preferred to employ women and children because they were cheaper than men.
It must have been a very hard life.
Yes, it was. And they were constantly watched while they worked. Money was taken from their wages if they talked or left the room without permission, or if they fell asleep while they were working.
Well, thank you for that, Professor Johnson. And we look forward to hearing more in next week's programme, when you're going to tell us about how conditions got better.
So there are a number of key words that will lead you to the answer. And it was clear at the end that they are talking about, thank you, conditions for workers in the mills, and a huge part of it was dedicated to the children's conditions. Okay. Now, so look at this. This is very important. Not only that you say children's. This is erasable, so I can make it here. Children's conditions. You can add this. Okay, this is one thing that you need to matter. Okay, now people traveling long distances to find work, they offered them, yes, they offered them food and a stay. And that's why we're talking about children's conditions. Or you even don't need to add the apostrophe S, you just need to write children, ERN. Okay, now after we have listened to that, I need to come back again to this grammar lesson here, the past perfect continuous. And if you look at the board, you know we have the timeline, and we usually divide it into three parts: past, present, let's say three aspects of time, and future. So if I'm talking about past, and I take an example here, people had been working in their homes, spinning cotton by hand. So this means that is an action in the past that was taking place at that time in the past. So when you need to talk about an action that was taking place at a certain moment of the past or a certain time, you would use the past perfect continuous. Looking at the text, you will find many examples for these. Arkwright had been using, he had been working in the factory, and so and so. So we would answer two sentences here using the past perfect continuous. Like, for example, number one is done. The river was very high because it had been raining continuously for 3 weeks. Number two, they in a small village before they moved to the city. So they had been living. Thank you. Number three, before she went to work in the factory, she cotton at home. She had been spinning, and so on. So ask your teachers about whatever you need to be focused on during the lessons, and do not hesitate to approach them via the website. See you soon. Assalamu alaikum.